said already about what was the cause and all that other stuff. Some of it is true, some of it is completely false. But the truth is, and I'm saying it here now, is that Derrick Janx was involved with other women outside the marriage. And by involved, I want to be clear, I'm not talking about just casually kicking it, maybe a lunch or something like that. I'm talking about as serious as sex, to sexual flirtation and meeting up and that kind of thing. And some things that otherwise may be considered okay by some in terms of like just chatting or checking on people or being checked on by people that I've had a previous encounter with. But without my wife's knowledge of it and with us having a sexual history, all of it falls under the umbrella of inappropriate, cheating, affair, stepping out, definitely not in alignment with the vows that I took, and definitely not in alignment with the biblical standard of what it means to be faithful, which is the standard that I'm going by now. Now, I'm saying this publicly, not because I'm, married to you guys. First and foremost, I'm accountable to God. Then I have to be accountable to my wife, in which we've already had this conversation. I've already told her literally everything. I've given her basically a roll call list. If I've said hello to a woman in the last 12 years of me knowing her, she knows about it. But now that it's been made so public, it's important that I first off let you guys know I do not stand by those actions. I don't want to encourage anybody to do that. And then secondly, I know that I cannot build a platform preaching certain things, preaching against certain things, and then in my real life live contrary to that for any amount of time or any length of time to any extent and think that I can't be held accountable. The same way that I preach, men and women in this situation need to face consequences of their actions, deserve to be held accountable. Guess what? Derrick Janx's no exemption. He's not exempt from that. I'm also not a victim. Nobody made me do this. She didn't make me or push me to do it. The next person didn't make me. No friend influenced me. It don't matter how I was raised and what trauma, whatever. Look, I made decisions. I made a series of decisions that I got to account for. There's no excuse or justification. I've already made that bed and have had to lie in it. And now we're finally getting on to the other side personally in our own healing, in our own marital oneness. And now this is being made public to you guys. So we're bringing that forth to you guys to let you know where we're at with that. But did you want to say anything?
Yes, so I do want to just add that I agree with what he just said. There is no justification for bringing other women into our marriage on any level. And it was unacceptable. And it's not something that I tolerate or that we tolerate moving forward. And when I've been flooded again with messages and these things and about, I need to leave or why haven't I left? And the answer is, when I found out about it, I left. I did not hesitate or waste time to do so. And I stayed gone. No matter how many times he came, I stayed gone and stood firm on, I am not coming back. And I did not come back until I seen a shift and a change in his mentality, in how he carried himself, and how he presented himself, and conversations that we were able to have that we had never been able to have in just 12 years of knowing each other. And when we were able to have these dialogues, said, okay, Lord, this is something that you've had your hand on, and this was with me being completely removed from his life, and him pursuing God, continuing to pursue God, and continuing to eliminate these things that led up to the catastrophe that you guys are seeing for the first time. So there's nothing out there right now that is information that I don't already know about or haven't known about. And so this is not something that is new. We have moved forward from it. We have gotten counsel for it and continue to do so. He is still continuing to pursue God and continuing to seek guidance and wise counsel from men of God. And that is what I needed for the continuation of me being present and in this marriage and to stand by his side. So today, where I'm at is at peace, and I proudly stand by his side, and I have no hesitation, I have no hurt, no shame about that. And it's only because of the grace of God and the mercy of God. And we have already turned a new chapter in this story. We are continuing to move forward, and we are just now sharing that with you. all, and I forgave him, and most importantly, God has first forgiven him, and I also forgive the others as well. And with that, we are free and moving forward. So that's all I have.
Yeah. And I get it. Some of y'all, like, this may come as a huge shock, probably a huge disappointment. I let a lot of you down. You know, if you've had a perspective shift on who Derrick is, hopefully it's away from anything remotely close to perfection, and it's simply that, you know, I am a human, and that does not justify anything that I did. But I don't want anybody out there to be putting me on a pedestal. If you did, then I hate that you did that. Maybe I gave you cause for that, and I apologize if I did. For those who are saying, Derrick, I don't want to ever listen to you again, it's totally understandable. I appreciate you while I had your support and helping me get the message out about healing and healthy relationships to so many people who needed it, myself included. And for those who are going to continue to support, man, I appreciate you like never before, because I know it's not going to be easy going forward, at least for a little while so many things are still fresh and attached to my name. But for everybody out there, if you get nothing else from what I've ever said over the last 9 years or right here in this video, please get this. Nothing is right until it is right with God. Nothing works until it comes into alignment with biblical standard of how God told us to do things, especially when we're talking about a marital, spiritual covenant. You know, you cannot do this by your own understanding, your own intelligence, your own willpower, your own values. You have to have the grace of God to break free from certain things, to stay away from certain things, to not operate from your lowest self, whatever it may be. And it's because it's really only by God's grace that we're even able to be here on this video, holding hands. Well, like a year ago, 7-8 months ago even, I couldn't see this happening. I thought it was over, and I already had begun establishing my relationship with God. But that's the fruit of bringing things in alignment with God. And the mess that's been made, the mess that's now being made public from last year and, you know, years past, that's a result of getting out of alignment with doing things God's way. So that's where I stand. That's where we stand. And again, we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you soon. Peace.
So, when I looked in the comments of this video, I don't know if old boy was trolling or not, but he said, D, I think I want to see a reaction to this video. So let's do it. And by the way, I'm gonna speak in third person. A lot of you already seen this, but this is Derrick Janx. A lot of people think of him as a relationship expert and guru and all of that. Well, he and his wife are making this video because apparently at some point in their marriage, or maybe even beforehand in the relationship, he didn't take his own advice and he stepped out and he got involved with other women, as you heard them say. Now, upon first impression, nothing really stuck out to me about him, but more so about the wife. Like, I heard her say that she stands with her husband, she's proud to love him. I heard her say that, you know, this is some time ago, they've already processed this, overcame this, dealt with this a long time ago, and nothing's really new to her. But just by her body language, I was really wondering, like, did he force her to do this video? Like, she looks super uncomfortable, like she doesn't want to be there. But then I watched their live chat that they did right afterwards, and, you know, I kind of caught that this is just a part of her personality. So that kind of explains somewhat of her demeanor. You know, she clearly has a mind of her own, if you saw the live chat too. And she said that the live chat even was her idea. So with that, cool. She wants to stand by her husband. She feels like he's worth it. She has that right. Now, as far as what he said, I understand and I completely applaud him taking accountability, because too many times we see dudes and they got this sob story about how they was raised and, you know, they broken home and the goldfish died and they never seen a marriage and all that. He didn't do that. He just took accountability. But I hope he understands that all the accountability in the world is not going to rebuild broken trust. Not on a personal level, and even with the public that he's addressing. Like, even his most loyal supporters at this point will probably have a raised eyebrow from this point forward whenever he wants to condemn another man for something like this, and rightfully so. So hopefully he understands that. And I also thought it was very intriguing how he brought in God at the end. You know, I don't really hear him speak like that. So, you know, do it God's way or else it's going to fail. Now, if I saw that a couple of years ago, I honestly would have called BS. I honestly would have been like, nah, dude, like, you can't use God as a scapegoat, you know, as if you not having Jesus is why you did what you did. Like, if Jesus was there with you when you was with those other women, Jesus would have zipped up your zipper for you. That's not how it worked. Like, who are you kidding? But now I have a relationship with God for myself, so I hear things a little bit differently. And what I heard whenever he said that was that, you know, when you go into a godly commitment, which marriage is supposed to be, you can't lean on your own understanding. You can't do it by yourself. You can't do it by your own willpower, your own good intentions and vows and love for a person. If you go into a godly commitment, you have to lean on God. You have to do things like to God's standard. You have to rely on God's grace. That's the only way you're going to be able to do it for the long term. And that I can personally relate to. Now, regardless, whether you like him, love him, or hate him, I think this is a great example as to why we don't need to be putting anybody on the pedestal. Nobody. And I think a lot of women did that. And I'm not even gonna say it's the women's fault by themselves, because this dude, he never really showed his struggle. You know, we understand, oh, we're all humans and we all make mistakes, but he never showed those mistakes, not for real. I think he wrote about it or something like that, but he never showed that side. So it's not really all on the women, but I've seen a lot of women put this dude on the pedestal to the point of idealizing him and even comparing their man to him. Like they'll compare their man's good, bad, and ugly whole story to Derrick Janx's snippet. You know, which is of course a standard nobody can meet consistently. That's like a dude taking a picture of another woman who's in shape and she got a 4-pack and, you know, she just beautiful and all of that stuff and her body's just super tight, and him comparing his woman to that woman because his woman got a couple extra pounds from having a baby. Meanwhile, he don't know that woman in the picture may not even be able to have children. She may be struggling with that and coping with it by working out 2-3 times a day. She may have an unhealthy body image, and that's why she works out obsessively and consistently and looks so good. Like, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's wise to ever idealize somebody or compare them. Like, not only because somebody can be living a double life, which I don't think is quite the case here, according to his wife, behind the scenes, without anybody knowing. Of course, this part ain't gonna blow up, but he's been putting in the work to kind of reconstruct what all had been broken since last year. So I don't think it's a double life thing, but you don't know what struggle somebody has behind the scenes. You don't know their shortcomings. You don't know where they're falling short. So it's just not wise to compare, you know, on any level. Nonetheless, I know some people will see this type of video, even though he's come forward and he's been completely honest. Some people are just gonna close the book on D. Some people are gonna close the book on this dude and say, you know what? I'm done with you, cancel culture, come here. I'm more so on the side of his wife and just basically letting this be a new chapter of how I see him, because I do believe that his content over the years has helped a tremendous amount of people. You know, he tells the truth, he speaks facts. And quite honestly, I'm gonna be real with y'all, I've needed several new chapters in my own life, Lord knows. And I'm not ashamed to say it, but I'm no guru. Those are just my thoughts. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. And by the way, he has a book detailing how he and his wife overcame all of this in their private lives a long time ago, matter of fact. It's called Heal Together Without Hurting Each Other. So if you're in a situation like this, you want to let God in to totally restore it better than new, click the link down in the bio or up in the bio in the caption. I got a 50% off deal for you guys who are watching this video right now. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments. I'll holler at y'all later. Y'all be good. Peace.